Hi everyone! Today's technique, I thought I would show you how I do the bokeh technique. And this is all about using your stencil, and your stencil needs to be full of open circles. I suppose you could do this with squares if you had a stencil that had squares or triangles, but usually the bokeh technique is done with circles, but you can use whatever you want. I am going to be using some distress oxides. I've got the Frayed burlap, spiced marmalade, aged mahogany and the peeled paint. So I'll pop those to one side. I've cut out a few embellishments, stamped, coloured and cut these out. And I used the Textures Papercraft Society box 48 to cut out this image and this image down here. There was another one, oh yeah, and this tiny image up there. So that was the stamps that I used. I'm going to pop those to one side. I've got myself some white cardstock and I've got myself some craft card. So that's what I'm going to be using. So the first thing I need to decide is what size card I'm going to make, and I've decided that I'm going to make a 5 by 6. So I need to cut my cardstock width at 10 and then the depth at 6. I'm going to take in my piece of card and I'm just going to score this down at 5 inches. I'm going to turn this over and give that a nice burnish. So there we've got a relatively tiny card for me. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut my piece of craft card 4 3/4 by 5 3/4, and this is going to be our first matte layer. And then taking in another piece of scrap card, I'm going to cut this at 4 1/2 by 5 1/2, and this is the piece that we're going to be working on. And this piece is going to sit over the top and give me a nice background with craft card. So if you take the piece that we're going to be working on and take our stencil, and I'm just going to place this where I think I would like this to go. Going to be roughly about there. I'm going to tape the stencil down. So there's our stencil taped down. I'm going to take in the first colour, and I think I'm going to take in the Frayed burlap. And all I'm going to do is just choose a few circles at random and ink up those circles. Now I'm using a dauber for this. You could use a sponge, you can use your big brushes. So there's that one. I'm going to try and balance this out a little bit. So I'm going to pop another one there. And maybe another one there. So that's the Frayed burlap. Then I'm going to take in the spiced marmalade. And I'm going to do the same again. So I'm going to do this big one in the spiced marmalade. Another one there. Now I want quite a lot of orange, being as it's a autumn card. Then I'm going to take in the aged mahogany. And I'm going to do the same with the aged mahogany. Just pick out some circles. And I think I'll do this. So that's the aged mahogany. And then the last colour, I'm just going to fill in all the circles now with the peeled paint. Now obviously you can use whatever colours you want for this. You don't have to go with the colours that I'm using. This is quite a nice relaxing technique. And the thing I like about it is you never really know what you're going to end up with until you've finished. Let's move that over this side. There we go. So nearly there. Those very tiny ones I'm just going to dab. So this is going to be our background for our card. A couple more. That one there. That one at the top. And I think they're all done. So now I'm going to remove my tape. And we've got this technique going on. But now I'm going to rotate my stencil. I'm not worried about lining this up with anything. I just want to place this down anywhere. Get that stencil taped down again, the piece there. And we're just going to go back over from the beginning. And this time just pick out some of your open circles that you can see are overlapping. And just give those a colour with the frayed burlap. You want to try and pick circles that haven't got any of the frayed burlap already in. And that way you know you're going to get all the colours. So that's the frayed burlap. We're finished with that one. Then we're going to take back in the aged mahogany. And we're going to do exactly the same with the aged mahogany. And just pick out any circles. Maybe those at the bottom. Then I'm going to take back in the orange, which was the spiced marmalade, and just fill a few circles with the spiced marmalade. I'm going to do that big one actually with the spiced marmalade. And there's one there. Maybe this one. I think that's all I want to do with spiced marmalade. And then the last one I'm going to go back in with the peeled paint. And I'm just going to basically fill in where there's any white areas. So at the end of the day, you just don't want to be able to see any white areas. So I'm just going to pop the lid on there, move them to one side and remove the tapes. And then when I lift and this is the effect that we get. So you get circles that are in the background, circles that are in the foreground. And I just think that's really quite unique. Just going to give this a little clean up. And if you take in a piece of kitchen roll, pop your stencil down and give that a really nice clean off. Turn that one over, and that is clean on the back. And then if we take back in our background, we've got our lovely background for our card. So the first thing I'm going to do is glue this to my craft piece all around the edges. Line this up. Pop this down. Turn that over and give it a nice rub. And then this one is going to go onto my card front with some foam tape. Line of foam tape all around the edges. And a couple of pieces in the middle. Give those a really nice burnish. So as always, the outer backing's halfway. And then we can remove those center ones completely. Doesn't matter which way you put this, you can have it whichever way you want. I'm just going to have a look to see. I think I'm going to have it this way. I'm going to line my card up and let that fall. And then I can remove all these tapes. And that's what you call the bokeh technique. So you can see you've got circles in the forefront, circles in the background, circles behind other circles. And then for this one, I think we'll have the one with the white because we need a bit more white in the card. And I am going to put this one up with some glue gel. So just taking a nice blob of glue gel all over the back of my image. Maybe a bit just down in that corner and over in this corner. And I think I'm going to pop this more towards the bottom. Get that exactly where I want that. And just give that a slight press down, not too much, because we want that to be raised off of the page. And there's a really pretty autumn looking card. Now the sentiment I thought I would use for this is I smile when I think of you, whatever the season. So I've taken a piece of scrap card straight. And I'm going to ink this up with the VersaFine Onyx Black. I re-inked this pad yesterday, so I hope it stamps okay. So line your paper up nice and straight, and I'll give that one a stamp down. Just give that stamp a little clean off and pop that to one side. I'm going to take in my paper trimmer. First of all, going to get this edge nice and straight. And could actually go long quite a bit more. There we go. And I need to take a tiny bit off of the top. And that's our sentiment. I am going to back this onto a piece of craft card. Just going to run some glue all over the back of that sentiment. I'm going to pop this down with a nice tiny border. Turn that over and give that a really nice press down. And then I'm gonna just cut this out freehand, and this is going to go up in this corner on an angle, and I am going to put this up with, we could put this up with glue gel, we could put it up with foam tape. As I've got the glue gel out, I might as well use the glue gel. So I'm just going to pop a nice blob of glue gel in each corner, and then a blob in the middle, and get that sentiment where I want it, just so. And then for the inside of this card, I thought I would just pop the smaller pumpkin down with some glue just in that bottom corner to follow that theme through. So I think I'm just gonna leave that as it is for now and decide on a sentiment to put on the inside. But how lovely is that? So we've created our own background using the Bokeh technique. I'd previously stamped, coloured and cut my images. Got a nice sentiment, used a bit of craft card, and we've created a stunning autumn card. Well, I hope you've enjoyed my little video. I hope you've learned something. I hope you give the Bokeh technique a try. Anyway, thank you for watching, and until the next time, bye for now.